or liberation just have vastly different understandings of what liberation is for.
I haven't seen this much importance and attention.
The story itself is a really wonderful, really great setup.
Tractor beam has been engaged.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tractor Beam Comics Reviews, your one-stop shop for in-depth commentary and discussion on this week's Star Wars comics. And boy, do we have a doozy, especially for the in-depth commentary tonight. It is Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. It's the 36th week of comics in 2025. We're rolling through the year. I'm Matthew. That's Chris coming to us from Underworld, New Jersey. How you doing? How's it going, Chris?
Oh man, I can't wait to talk comics. This is one of those banner weeks for me where I'm itching to talk about these comics. Not one, but both of the comics that came out this week were extraordinary. Can't wait to dive in.
And both of these comics are set in and around the sequel era. So as always, when we do that, we got a resident sequelist in here, Joel Davis. Joel, how are you doing this week?
Oh, I had a day, but I'm actually glad to be here. So
there we go.
Good to be here.
Right. I'm sorry you had a day. It's been a day. It's been 2 days since we've chatted. So there we go.
Too long.
Too long. We should just do podcasts every day. Is how we're gonna do this.
I know, right?
I don't know. That'd be a little much.
Yeah.
There we go. Yes, so we're chatting. Of course, chatting Hunt for the Falcon #1 and Legacy Vader #8. In case anyone's wondering, get the social plugs out of the way. You can follow us on Blue Sky at the tractorbeam.bisky.social. Still, of course, Ion Ken and Underworld, Twitter, etc. Of course, you follow everything Chris is up to at Star Raptor, StarRapter, and that's on Twitter, and youtube.com/Star Raptor. Again, that's StarRapter. God, that's about right. And then we'll pick up the rest of the plugs at the end. But I do want to mention again, we are on Blue Sky. So if you are on Blue Sky, please give us a follow. Please give us a like. Please give us the love. Tell your friends. Tell your parents. We're talking Star Wars comics over on Blue Sky. Finally got off my rear end and got some my Tractor Beam socials. So do check that out. Bit more plugs to get through. We are proudly part of the Star Wars Underworld Podcast Network, and here on the Underworld YouTube channel, we have super chats, we have YouTube memberships. So if you would be inclined to support us either through super chats or a channel membership, please do so. If you chat with us normally, we will get to your comment as soon as we can, as best we can. If you super chat us, we'll interrupt whatever it is we're saying, whatever it is we're talking about, and we will get to your comment, even if it has nothing to do with Star Wars, nothing to do with Star Wars comics. If it's about that detective comics film that we all like, I'll even talk about that for a second if you super chat us. So that's what we're willing to do for the support. I know we're grateful for any support you can provide, and also with the Underworld Network, Underworld Discord server down in the description below. You can find a link to our Discord server where we chatting about Star Wars, chatting about different things, different comics, different whatever. Actually chatting about the Legacy Vader comic last night and today. So not spoilers last night, but today we were talking about it in the chat. And so please do find the link down below. And Joel, I'm glad you're here because you can talk about any events that have happened recently or coming up in the Discord.
Yes, last week we had a very fun game night. So much so that we actually had 2 games running at the same time.
Wow.
We had the Fortnite, and our good friend Star Raptor was there on the other channel playing Helldivers. So
Nice.
That's definitely part of our roster of games to play for anybody who's going to want to play. We might have another game night this week as well, just for the heck of it. And yeah, look forward to that.
I gotta say, I played more Helldivers 2 this morning. It is a crazy experience. It is the most positive video game experience I've had
really
in a long time. I'm talking about jumping into random groups with people around the world, and everybody's trying to help you. Brandon's very friendly German guy this morning playing at 6:30 a.m. my time, and it was like this guy was, just not, I was dying left and right. And the guy's like, oh, I'll pick you up here, do this instead, blah, 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 blah. Very helpful people playing this game. And it's just so much freaking fun. So yeah, won't be surprised if we'll probably end up playing that again on Friday. Cause, we need more people to fight for democracy, fight for
Super
justice, and fight for Super Earth. Join us.
I actually do find the fact that the Helldivers community is like one of the nicest communities hilarious, given that it's like you were basically like Darth Vader looking guys in capes. They're like democracy.
I think you got to check this out. I'm kind of curious about this now. So there we go. Check that out this Friday, probably. See what they end up doing. I guess, is there anything coming up, brother? I should ask you this, Joel, before I pretend to announce something. Is there anything coming up soon, or?
Just another game night, and I am thinking in like maybe a week or two showing an interesting Star Wars documentary on YouTube.
Nice. There we go. So yeah, also fun times, fun kinds of things they get up to over in the chat channels, the audio channels, having things on while chatting in the background there. So yeah, come on in. The water's fine. Last plug. Gotta say, no, wrong thing. This is what we're getting at. Tractor Beam live at Fan Expo Canada as promised. Panel that Ash and I did with Ethan Sachs and Paolo Villanelli. It is up on YouTube right here on this channel. So when we're done, actually one last plug after this I should mention, but when we're done recording, hop on over to same channel, same bat channel, same Catacoot channel, same Catacoot time. There's a good phase 2 deep cut for you. It was a great discussion, mainly about bounty hunters, but also about Podamer and Codebreaker and some other things that just the way they write stories and draw stories. So yeah, it was a great discussion. Ethan was there right in the room with us, and then in Paolo on Zoom. So he's audio only on Zoom all the way from Rome. So he stayed up till 1 a.m. Rome time to chat with us. So that was a great time. So check that out, and I'll spread the news about that more widely, maybe on Friday. Do more socials on that. But yeah, please do check that out. It was a great conversation, and hopefully do something else like that at Toronto Comic Con. Why the heck not? Last but not least, if audio is more your speed, I promise I'm done for this. Audio is more your speed. After we're running recording, I'll throw this up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And for your listening pleasure, search. I changed the name. Search the Tractor Beam Star Wars Comics Reviews. So there we go. It's the Tractor Beam Star Wars Comics Reviews. If you're just looking for Star Wars comics, hopefully the search will come up. That's the idea. We're getting the business. They're figuring it out. So yeah, search for that on Spotify and Apple, and I think wherever you get your podcasts. So that's it for plugs. We'll pick those up again at the end, but I think it's time to dive in to going to just before The Force Awakens. There we go. We got Hunt for the Falcon #1. It's written by Rodney Barnes with art by Ramon Rosanas, colors by Guru EFX, letters by VC's Joe Caramagna, and Ramon and Guru EFX also did the cover. In the time before The Force Awakens, where is the Millennium Falcon? Less than satisfied with a settled life, Han Solo lands on the idea of reclaiming the Falcon and returning to a life of adventure. The problem is, he can't find it. After enlisting a less than enthusiastic Chewbacca, the duo embarks upon a quest to reclaim the greatest ship in the galaxy. Standing in their way are a laundry list of rogues who have staked a claim to the Millennium Falcon as well, like the villainous scoundrel who stole the Falcon in the first place, Duquesne. That description definitely tells the whole plot of issue #1. But that's an interesting life choice on their part. But Chris, I'll throw doing something different now. I'll throw this to you. What do you think of Hunt for the Falcon #1 and how this book kicked off?
Oh, I thought it was amazing, man. I think this is one of the best comics we've had in quite a while. Of course, Legacy Vader has been great.
Yeah.
In addition to Legacy Vader, which we'll get to tonight. But what I think this does really well is really sets the backdrop of Force Awakens. This feels like this will be sort of like the prequel that leads into Han and Chewie on the whatever that ship was called, something with an E. I think that the big ass cargo
the Rathtar ship.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
feel like we're gonna lead right into that. This
Yeah.
was that missing puzzle piece, right? We
Mhm.
talk about, the black box, the mystery box that J.J. Abrams had. There's been, we're 10 years later, we're answering questions still with this era. And while that's cool to get the plot details in there to get kind of resolved, I think this does something really interesting for the character of Han Solo. We get to see Han Solo through a different lens that feels like a little foreign, but it makes sense. And I think a lot of people out there can relate to Han Solo a lot because it speaks a lot about retirement and how people they go into retirement and realize this is great for the first couple days, and then they're like, oh crap, like I need hobbies, I need to do something, maybe I should get a part-time job, like this isn't as great as I thought it could be, kind of thing. And that's exactly what it feels like with Han Solo's going through. Like, okay, like it's nice to see him, like, first of all, with Lando. We're getting those dream scenarios, like seeing that older Han with Lando, those buddies again, just there at the track, just like they're owning the ships, and you get to see moments of amazing parts of first off, Rodney Barnes.
Yes.
Love that we're getting Rodney Barnes to do stuff that isn't just straight adaptations of The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I knew this guy always had high potential for Star Wars. So between this and I think the other one he did was Inquisitors, right?
Yeah.
Recently.
Yeah.
So he gets them, man. He really writes Han Solo so well. Down to like the finger pointing and the different icons of Han going out there, feeling like he's youthfulness again, and just having that, like I can hear Harrison Ford speaking these lines in my head as I'm reading this comic. I love how in the beginning we're getting that great like overlay narration of like him flying the Falcon at some point before Return of the Jedi, because we know that because the radar dish is still on there. And it's a circle rather than the rectangle. We're seeing these like cool like little ships. Like I'm getting into nitty gritty right now. I'll finish up my thoughts more concise so you guys can speak. But overall, like I thought this was great. This is great for the character. And I'm looking forward to diving deeper into the conversation.
Yeah. I mean, there's this amazing moment, Lando asks Han, when was the last time you spoke to her? And Han immediately thinks, oh yeah, the Falcon. No, obviously he means Leia. But yeah, I mean, we know at the beginning of Force Awakens, they're wandering. They're well, Han at least. Leia knows what she's doing, but Han is just wandering around, kind of lost and bored, but still not sure of what his purpose in the galaxy is. And we get the tail end of that in the film, but we really get that as the focal point of this comic book, because of course the film is about Rey, and rightly so, and Finn and Poe. But this comic book about Han being bored and restless, and we know he ends up leaving Leia because he's so restless. And even then, it's tragic because now he's off doing the thing. He's owning racers. He's owning race cars or whatever, the speeders that go around the track, whatever, and probably invested in the actual people who race and whatnot. And like he's up there constantly chasing the next thing that is this high stakes, high speed thing, but because he's not the one in the ship, it's still not enough. And so of course he jumps into the ship, and it's like gets disqualified because it wasn't registered. But like, oh, you can't do what's the line? If nobody else can do it, you gotta do it yourself, kind of thing.
Yeah,
people can do it, right? Whatever. Yeah, it just underscores that even though he's out there doing what he's claiming he wants to do, it's still not enough. And the implication there, part of it with finding the Falcon. I mean, finding the Falcon, it's this what's called midlife crisis kind of thing. I mean, this whole thing, he's been in the midlife crisis since Ben left, but he's trying to oh, I need to recapture my mojo by recapturing my Falcon. And yeah, he gets on this quest, which, then, I mean, yeah, we can go into the weeds a little bit now. I mean, I want to say one last thought before I turn to you, Joel. It's this amazing contrast with Chewie and his family, right? That Chewie is happy and settled, and there with forget her name, his wife's name,
Mala.
Mala, and there with Waru or Lumpy or Waru. We'll get into that. He's satisfied, he's happy being with his family, but then Han has to convince him to go, and and he goes. But yeah, it was really, like you said, really interesting to think it does for Han's character. It's one of those things that comics can do. It's this, again, it couldn't be the focus of the film, but let's focus a comic book run, a short run, I'm assuming, on this character beat, character beat of Han and where he's at the beginning of the film, or just before the beginning of the film, I should say. So we've spoken about Joel, resident sequelist. Throw this to you. What do you think of Hunt for the Falcon #1?
I'm confused when this actually supposed to take place. Is this after Bloodline? Why isn't Lando on Parnassa in exile? I thought he was going to stay there all the time now. I mean, I guess maybe he doesn't. I mean, I guess he never said. I guess he's taking sabbatical. I'm actually kind of confused by that. When's this book supposed to take place?
Yeah, I was asking Matthew just before we record, like, where's the timeline? Because Bloodline is what, like 5 or 6 years before.
Yeah.
So you said that there's a hint that he hadn't talked to Leia, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if that's the case, and I actually disagree with you, Matthew. He didn't leave Leia because he was restless. He left Leia because their son turned to the dark side.
Sure.
That's the equivalent of their son dying. And that causes parental divorce. So I don't think he left because he was reckless. I think he left because he's feeling shame and just needs to suck it in somehow.
There are multiple reasons. I'll say that. But
I don't think that it's being restless. I think it's more there's some sell the dark side.
Well, okay. So yes, that is the primary reason. But maybe we can harmonize this. I mean, clearly what Rodney is telling us is he's also restless. Clearly at this point, he just and even in the dialogue of Force Awakens, right? Leia tells him, "You just went off and did what you do best. You just had to go." Maybe in order to, like you said, to undo the shame of losing his son and the grief of losing his son, pushes him out and says, "Oh, I got to do something with my life. Maybe win him back, maybe, or something." Of course, actual tragedy, the end of Force Awakens there. All this description says is in the time before the Force Awakens. So, which is to say, which is Star Wars talk for it doesn't entirely matter. It's just, yeah.
But I do know in Bloodline, he's still a race owner and he still does adventuring things. And I don't think he has the Falcon. So he and Leia kind of have this weird open marriage where it's like they're married, but they're also totally okay doing their own thing. Yeah. I guess it says a lot about their devotion to each other. Where they're like, he'll be back. They don't need to always be at the house every day. They just have a relationship like that. It's cool. Sure. Man, you don't need to have polygamy. Who cares about monogamy?
Well, I mean, who knows? Yeah, fair. Sorry,
Star Wars. But no, I mean, the book itself is pretty cool. It's cool seeing Han is like trying to be a respectable race owner with a fancy cape. But it's just not him, man. He needs the life. I love seeing Chewie's family exactly from the holiday special. Even the house is the exact same house from the holiday special. They didn't even bother to change it. Although there's no grandpa there's no the grandpa Wookiee.
We know how he died, Joel. We know how he died.
Old age. Old age.
No. Anyway. There's a good what's it called? Futurama episode about that. Anyway.
But yeah, I love seeing the grandpa Wookiee.
I'll tell you off. Sorry, go ahead.
Who's actually Atatürk, who according to Wikipedia. That was cool. Little Force Fallen Order reference to the great scary spider.
Yeah.
Love
that.
And it'll be interesting. I mean, again, my only quibble is when does this take place? I thought they did a comic like this already with Dark Horse, or that's something different.
That was IDW Flight of the Falcon. So that's how he got the Falcon stolen from him.
Right.
by
Okay.
Duquesne. Now we're
Okay.
gonna find out how Duquesne lost it to the Irving boys, who then lost it to Unkar Plutt. I think that's what we'll see in this.
Dang, the Falcons keep changing hands.
I had to look that up before.
Yeah.
That's fair. Fair enough. It's
Yeah.
very confusing. I'm not quite sure how it gets there. Oh yeah, that's right. It is on Jakku. I forgot. But yeah. But no, it's interesting. I mean, I do love the little image of Han with teenage Kylo Ren in that jacket, like the
Yeah.
cool emo kid.
Ben the emo kid.
Ben the emo kid king, probably before he went off to go to Jedi school to straighten up his act. Darn kids. Yeah, I'll be curious kind of to see, maybe as the comic goes on, maybe get a better sense of like, and maybe this will kind of go into my ultimate kind of read of the character, where it's like Han says he's restless, but then he's gonna break down Chewie's like, my son went to the dark side and I feel shame, and he's evil, and Leia's got to do this whole resistance thing against the First Order, and I'm too scared to go back because I feel like I'm responsible for the fact my kid turned evil, and I don't want to face her, even though Leia would totally be okay with me, but I'm just too stubborn, and I gotta do something. And then Chewie's like, "Get over yourself, man. Get grip. Help these kids with their resistance thing." Like, I'm like, "Oh, fine." But yeah, it's a good start. I'll be interested kind of to see where it goes.
Yeah, what kind of character beats we get from Han, right?
Do we know if this is a 4 or 5 issue miniseries?
I thought it was 5.
Question.
Nice. I hope so.
Yeah,
a lot of depth. I feel like we got so much out of issue number 1 that I feel like this could really add a lot of value to the story, to the character. You know,
if it doesn't give us like a firm timeline, that's fine. But it does seem like the New Republic has not exploded yet, so.
Yeah.
Well, no, it could, because Han.
No way it did. Yeah.
Wikipedia says between 31 and 34. ABY.
ABY? Okay.
ABY. I don't know why. I'll have to read this whole footnote thing there. They like to figure things out like that, so they do the force work. Yeah, again, I hope we do get something, because it's again something worth sinking into. Is it's a bit of show not tell, and I do want more show not tell, but if anyone Han could be telling this to, it's Chewie and maybe Lando, expressing these things. That is, I mean, expressing your feelings is part of type of showing. It's, even though it's exposition in a way, but I'll be good with that. Interesting you mentioned the Han, he's made it, become a respectable race owner, or race, with the cape and everything. I mean, that's why Lando's there, right, to provide this sort of callback to Bespin, to Cloud City, and say, yeah, and I'm respectable now, even though I mean he's been wearing the cape the whole time, but he went respectable, and even mentions this in the comic. So yeah, I mean, I agree. It'd also be nice if they have a little, oh yeah, I got to go get back to Pisana. I'm due for another festival of something, even though it's not the
sad about my lost daughter.
That too. So there you go. Chris, you wanted some more to pull out some more details in this one?
Oh yeah. So what I liked about this is seeing the ATSTs on Kashyyyk really is a nice callback to the Empire being there in Aftermath Life Debt, seeing that really big battle that happened there. And this is like at least 25 years later after that, we're still seeing wreckage of vehicles and stuff. Like this was a pretty big conflict on this planet. So I like that kind of lore and that little bit of like lived in history that we got there. But yeah, I mean, the interesting, I love that sequence with Han and Mala and Chewie and Waru, because, and I mentioned this in my own review on the channel, like seeing Han at his old age, like surrounded by these Wookiee characters, really puts things in perspective. And I don't think we often like appreciate this, and we think out in some High Republic Wookiee material, like these poor Wookiees, like, if they're friends with humans, they see them grow up and die all the time.
It's true.
And I got the sentimental feeling when I seen like an older Han sitting with like the happy Wookiee family. Like the last time these guys sat next to each other, he had a full head of dark hair, and now he's got a gray hair. He looks old,
Mhm.
and it's like, this might be the last time that these guys that he ever sits at this table because his
Yeah.
friend's gonna pass away.
Right.
So it's all this. It's like it was a very kind of poignant moment for me just seeing that panel, and I don't think they imagined to create that response to somebody like me as I'm reading this thing. But I'm going like, damn, that actually just that image is like, yeah, the life of a human is just like
Yeah.
a tiny little bit of time compared to a Wookiee,
And I'd like to just add as well,
Mhm.
depending on when this comic takes place, Han's gonna die soon in front of Chewie's little eyes.
Yeah.
Like his bestest buddy ever is gonna die. And I mean, that's why I kind of like the headcanon that Chewie now is the owner of the Falcon, but just lets Rey borrow it on occasion.
Yeah.
But like it's Chewie, like because Chewie's been on the longest. But that just makes it even sadder. It's like couple his bestest friend is practically his nephew are gonna die. I mean, soon. So
yeah,
Mhm.
and the thing is, when you put it in perspective like this too, like, yeah, Chewie might have been with his family for like the last like 15 or 20 years. Like Han's like, yeah, go ahead, go on your thing. I'll be with Ben, start my family. Go have fun with your family, blah blah blah. And then that 15 or 20 years could feel like maybe 5 years.
Yeah.
So for
For
like
Wookiee.
Chewie to like leave his family for a little bit of time is like no big deal because like when he returns,
True.
they're not going to age all that much probably anyway. Like he probably goes back there, I would imagine, right after like the Battle of Exegol. Like, hey, there's peace in the galaxy. I'm going to go back to my family now and hang out for a long time or something. So like it was kind of like interesting. Like, okay, I've heard that before. I read that in somewhere where it's like Chewie would go back and forth to Kashyyyk after the Empire to visit his family because it's just like, yeah, he could go on adventures with Han. Han's, those adventures have a limited time. He'll be around a lot longer than Han.
True.
So there you go.
Let's hope he goes back home. It'd be nice if he stayed there for good, but
yeah.
No, your point about that poignant moment around the dinner table there. Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's might not have been an intentional response, but it's such a homey family moment, and extended family and Han being part of their family effectively, to he drops in for dinner and he sits down and they're speaking different languages, but they're still able to show hospitality and welcome to him. You even and show that stability. I mean, that's the thing is his life has had such instability for the last number of years. That's probably what he's looking for with the Falcon is right. That's what he says. Chewie, we're home. And it also adds this interesting context. I mean, Han's home, but Chewie's home is back on Kashyyyk. We just saw it, right? And so, yeah, I be interesting to see that explored more. But it's already again show over tell. It's already there in this scene that is very like the empty plates after the dinner. Yeah, it's a good catch up and all that. So I very much playing with or not playing with our emotional heartstrings, but Rodney doing such a great job and Ramona and Guri effects doing such a great job of getting us into the emotional space where Han is, both and just in summary here where Han is in it. I think I do think he's restless in this. At least he's bored in this, and trying to convince where he turns for stability, where he turns for support for adventure. Oddly enough, he doesn't go to Leia. Not that she can help him now anyways. She's got this resistance to run, and whatnot, but he doesn't join the resistance. He tries to go find the Falcon. So yeah, it sets up a lot of intriguing character possibilities that are this is the fascinating thing. They are dictated in a way by the film. It has to end up there. But between now and then, and there's only 4 more issues in this. Hopefully not. Hopefully more. That'd be great. Or like another run, kind of like with the Bad Batch run for Dark Horse. there's lots of character things that can happen. Lots of things that we can see there. Joel, you want to jump in
Yeah,
there?
just one more thing about the whole going home.
Mhm.
It is interesting that I think this built off of Force Awakens, which is Han going home.
Yeah.
But obviously, I think because I don't know how much you guys remember the movie, but
Mhm.
after he gets the Falcon, he goes to Maz's castle, and
Yes.
then when Maz tells him, you're right back in the thick of it with the
Yeah.
BB-8 droid, Maz is like, Han, go home, go to
Yeah.
Leia, that's where your home is,
Yeah.
and obviously he does go back to Leia and goes home.
Mhm.
And tries to get his son to, and in some ways he's trying to get his son to come back home to
Yeah.
him, because I think that's ultimately what they want, and that doesn't work out. But
Yeah.
it is, Han does go back home, and he
Mhm.
tries to get his son to come back home.
Man. Star Wars and family. What a thing. Star Wars and birth family. It's interesting. It's so much about found family. I've said this a few times, maybe on Iron Cannon also. It's so much about found family, and the sequel trilogy especially is about found family. But birth family always has this tug. The people who are literally physically responsible for bringing you into the world, they have a responsibility for what happens when you're in the world. I mean, that's again, Joel, we talked about this on Monday about Return of the Jedi. We've talked about this lots of times with Return of the Jedi. Anakin seeing the son of Padme squirming on the ground, right? Seeing his son squirming on the ground, and that's the return. So yeah, it's amazing how this is just in this little comic book. Last thing I want to mention here is Duquesne and all the whole fun little quest trying to find information. I mean, that's Han on the chase too, but definitely raises the stakes. I know we use that a lot, but makes it feel more dangerous that this isn't going to be a walk in the park. People don't really know where the Falcon is. It's forgotten on Jakku. We know where the Falcon is, but as far as we know, Unkar Plot has it on Jakku. But there's some nefarious characters that a much older Han has to go deal with, and that's gonna be hairy, gonna be interesting, and we already see that. So if you guys have any thoughts, Chris, any thoughts on Duquesne, what his role might be?
Yeah, so Duquesne is it. I was happy to see that Nikto again, because
Yeah.
this is really going to tie things together. I do
Mhm.
hope at some point we maybe get like a little bit of a flashback retelling, because not everybody
Yeah.
has read those IDW comics, or like me, a lot of people have forgot about exactly what goes down
I
in those. So
don't
I
even know if I've read them. I forget if I've read them.
yeah, one of them had like Bazine Natal, the bounty hunter that was in Maz Kanata's castle next to the Dewatyn Grumgar that we've seen last
Yeah.
week. So yeah, it's a fast, and I think there's like 3 or 4 issues of that series or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was kind of like a little confused at the end there, because the way things are paneled out, it was like, okay, you have these 3 goons, you have this one character that is basically trying to go around and buy off this land, and then you have this other buy this hangar or whatever.
Yeah.
Then this other character Duquesne jettisons the guy out of the airlock. So
Yeah.
it was, but
Ruthless.
so I'm guessing the Millennium
Yeah.
Falcon is there because this guy owns this entire complex. You only see the one ship, which is what they take off in.
Yeah.
So I wonder what their end game is. I guess Duquesne doesn't care about the Falcon because he just sold this guy the property that has the Falcon on, and he's leaving it.
I mean,
That's where I
there's
was a little bit confused by.
some weird mistaken identities thing. I don't know. Because there's that guy, this gray and black guy, weird looking.
Yeah,
know
that
what
was a
species
very
that is.
cool character design, I gotta say. I
Duncan.
don't think we've ever seen that species in Star Wars, from what I can tell. It
Yeah.
looks like a monster.
Yeah.
Kind of creepy looking.
It's interesting. Yeah. I mean, again, it raises the stakes. Whatnot. One last thing I want to say: really interesting choice to make the pages smaller. If you notice, here's a good example here, where here's the full width here, but then there's this border around it for other parts. It does make it tighter and closer. I did notice that. I was like, why are the pages smaller? Huh? It's an actual choice by the By Ramon Rosanas probably made that choice, but I would doubt if Rodney Barnes had something to do with that. But yeah, interesting little details in this comic that we're taking the time to look at. There we go. Speaking of time, any last things you guys want, itching things you want to get? Okay, you guys are itching to go. You are itching to go. I'm gonna hold you off on the real meat of the conversation because I'll tell you this is Legacy of Vader number 8. Yes, written by Charles Soule, art by Stefano Raffaele, and colors by Nolan Woodard, letters by VC's Joe Caramagna again, and cover by Derek Chu. The Knights of Ren return with a new leader, Tava Ren. In order to control the Knights of Ren, Tava must kill Kylo Ren. Learn the dark secrets of this mysterious group of villains. What subterfuge will this new warrior use to get what she wants? When I said holding you guys at bay, I know you guys want to dive into the lore and implications and connections and all that. We will do that. I promise. First, I want to just talk about this as a Kylo Ren comic book, even though he isn't in it much. And a Legacy of Vader comic. You know, I was reading this and I'm thinking, yeah, okay, this kind of fits as a Legacy of Vader comic. It's definitely an interlude of sorts, right? It's all flashback, looking back at catching up to the Knights of Ren, what they got up to between previously on a comic book by Charles Soule, The Rise of Kylo Ren, all the way up to Force Awakens, The Last Jedi. But it really does see Kylo Ren as having to face the kinds of things that Vader did have to face in terms of detachment, in terms of, really felt like Kylo trying to assert his relationship with the Knights the way Vader had it with the Inquisitorius, for example. The way he had to not have friends, like couldn't have Padme as a friend. And just learn to be ruthless. And that's what we're getting at really is what Snoke Snoke sort of make them, or he has to, he's encouraged to lead them, and then he makes Kylo Ren quit them. And yeah, it was that kind of Vader, you trying to walk in the footsteps of Vader, trying to be this new Vader, mold this like the line in The Last Jedi, a new Vader. Here Kylo Ren's trying to be that. Of course, this is before he's been led on this journey with Vane to figure out what Vader's all about and what Vader's real shtick is. But yeah, very deep look into the dark side, kind of the brooding. Like he's even said, there's one moment dark even for us. The Kylo Ren went, not quite Sith, but again, he's in the footsteps of his grandfather. So going Sith, where he massacres all these folks, in order to forget the objective. But yeah, it was an interesting interlude that still managed to, at least if I'm thinking about the premise of the comic as a whole, right? This is what I'm getting at. It still managed to fit within that somehow, right? It still managed to say, this is Kylo Ren, why he struggles to fill or to embody the legacy of Vader, because it's this, Snoke has given him this paradox. He's said, yeah, be the new Vader, but also this is where he gets, let the past die, kill it if you have to, including the Knights of Ren, including your friends who are kind of, they're glorified pirates. They're not, they have this honor among pirates, honor among thieves. So that, Joel, I'll throw this to you. First of all, in terms of the actual comic, in terms of the story, before diving into the wider questions, what do you think? How do you think this? Where do you think this fit with the Legacy of Vader run and what it's trying to do so far?
I mean, I definitely think. I mean, I wasn't really thinking about comparing it to the Inquisitors, and what I actually was thinking about is Legacy Vader. I don't even think. I never actually think about these books as a Legacy Vader. I just think of it as just Kylo Ren story.
Yeah,
I don't actually care about
Sure.
Vader stuff, to be quite honest.
you are the resident sequelist. That's why you're here.
It's a title. It's a a clicks thing with the internet or
A
whatever.
marketing title.
You're marketing like you're gonna get more sales with anything with Vader in a title. Let's keep it real there.
That's true. It's still got my prequels juices going. Anyway.
Exactly. But no, I mean, it's an interesting. I can't really think about it without thinking about a little bit of the lore, but it's interesting seeing the Knights of Ren and their relationship to Kylo. I mean, I think, I forget the exact line, but I think one of the saddest moments for the Knights of Ren, where I kind of feel bad with, it's like, Kylo, we're your guys, we're your dudes, we're your pals, man, we're your buddies. Which I've always found the Knights of Ren so fascinating. It's like they're dark-sided, but like they're like buddies, right? Like, I mean, obviously they'll probably kill each other if they like, hey, you took my beer. But like these are my dudes, man. These are my Knights of Ren bras, broadettes, and non-binary bras. Right? Like we're the Knights of Ren, y'all. Like we're cool. We're like a rock band. We're about the shadow, man. We're about the music. And I mean, they're glorified pirates, which actually is not. I mean, which is very true, because I think like one of the original concepts for the sequel trilogy back in like the early days was a bunch of pirates find holocrons, become Sith Lords or something like that. I mean, that was just like. I think you could find like the art of book. Like that was one
sounds like a George Lucas idea.
One of the early pitches, but it really interesting just seeing the Knights of Ren, and I think Snoke not only is like you're beneath these idiots, but also I think he's trying to isolate Kylo, because it's like Vader, like the only friend you're allowed to have is me, the Emperor, technically. Whereas like if the Knights of Ren, in their weird little dark side way, can genuinely be his buddies, that's not isolation, that's community. That is dark side community. It's a little weird to think of it like that, but it's true. It's like dark side. I mean, even the Night Sisters have community with each other. Like they're your sisters, you're with sort of thing. So it's like Snoke's like, now you're not going to do that. They're rats. Go away. Blah blah blah. You only need me, Snoke / Palpatine. So I thought that was really interesting as well, and kind of seeing the Knights of Ren kind of being like, after that, man, we've just been on the run. We are. Snoke was right. We are losers. We are losers, man. And then Tava's like, hey, maybe not. Maybe I can get us back up and running to our glory again. So I really hope they don't kill Kylo Ren. I trust Charles Soule not to do that. You don't make a big deal out of this and just kill her off in the next issue. That seems, especially since it's a female character, that just seems like
that's true.
Bad fridging if that were to happen. But
you never know though.
You never know. I hope not. But no, I really thought this was interesting, just in terms of like understanding Kylo's character and seeing Snoke always isolate him from any sort of friendships, which he himself kind of already doesn't have, because it was sort of like, I think another favorite moment of mine was during like the party scene and Kylo just sitting in the back, because it's like, you forget Kylo Ren's an introverted nerd. He's us, man. He's like, if he weren't doing Dark Side, he'd be like doing his podcast, like Ben Solo podcast about kyber crystals.
He has a podcast for sure.
Oh yeah. He got the Kylo Ren podcast, the Vader podcast. But I just like that. It's like, I feel like Kylo during parties. I'm just gonna sit in the corner here. And, But no, I really liked it, and obviously I'll get into the big reasons, of course.
His podcast is called Nihil Theory. There it is.
Yes.
I'm here all week, guys. Well, it's you mentioned with Snoke trying to isolate him. Then with Snoke out of the picture, I love that moment. The Supreme Leader's predecessor out of the picture, they show up, and Tava's there, and she bends the knee. Don't know what, I mean, we know next issue they're going to duel. We see at the back of this one. So don't know what her game is, what she's playing at, but we know in The Rise of Skywalker, they're back with him. So, without Snoke to tell him what to do, yeah, he can actually go make friends. I mean, he's just tried to reach out to Rey, in some form of connection. I mean, a very manipulative friendship, but yeah, it definitely underscores. I mean, that moment to the end underscores what you're saying about how they were kicked out. Chris, again, before I'm going to hold you guys at bay for a few more minutes, Chris. As a comic book, as a part of this run, where do you feel this sits? How does this connect?
Yeah, two big things for me. First of all, dealing with Kylo Ren. Again, just like we did with the Han Solo comic, getting to see more layers of the sequel trilogy unwrapped there. We get to see, okay, what happened. And Joel, you put this video out to me brilliantly with this from that moment when Rey touches the Skywalker sword and then she sees this vision of the Knights of Ren in the rain. That is basically, we get the sequence of the expanded sequence of that. So we get to see a lot more of, okay, like we've seen at the end of Rise of Kylo Ren, him bleeding the lightsaber crystal. And then we would assume, okay, he's going to be with the Knights of Ren, but what really happened there? Like, how long was he around? So it was very, very a good amount of time passed there where they were running around. So I enjoyed seeing that. I enjoyed them running around the galaxy, and Kylo just commanding them and then getting these really specific orders. So we got a lot of that. But we also got this huge moment, and what I surmise as the first time that Kylo actually sees the First Order. Because up until now, he really only knows Snoke. He doesn't even know the First Order is really a thing, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So that kind of stops in the tracks. So like seeing that awesome image of like the first time the First Order arriving at the Praetorian Guards because Snoke is there protecting them. And then he got that First Order and he's like, oh, Kylo's like, do you want me to take care of him? He's like, no, I've brought a new weapon or something.
Right.
And it's just like these well-trained First Order indoctrinated troopers just unleashing barrage, and that causes the Knights of Ren to run away, and that's where they get this tendency to run because they've always been on the run because they've always been outnumbered and all this sort of thing. And then my next big point was the inclusion of Tava Ren.
Yeah.
And as Joel said, I read this comic and said, don't kill her off.
Yeah.
You got a perfect opportunity. And I don't want to get ahead of myself. We'll talk about it. Like, okay, this could be a good future thing to have for Star Wars. But like, just even before we get there, just the idea of this really strong, bold female character that kicks ass. And she's got a red lightsaber. She has this different piece of tech that allows her to turn into like a red mist, which is really, really cool.
I didn't even catch
I'm
that.
just all about, wait, what? You didn't
I don't think I even
one?
caught that. I was kind of confused. Or maybe I did. But I forgot. It's kind of confusing. Anyway,
Right,
sorry,
Joel? Can you back me up on this? Like,
no, I believe you. I believe you.
It's been a while. I'm sure you're right. Let me find it in the thing. I will look for it while you talk.
She activates this trigger,
right,
and it just like obscures her as she's fighting, and she's hacking off
right.
hands.
She comes out of nowhere,
and she just—it's almost like she becomes like a Night Sister, like how they turn into the mist. And maybe it is some kind of like Dathomirian device of some degree. Maybe we'll find out she's even a Dathomirian at some point, which would be really freaking cool. But yeah, between just like that flushing out of Kylo with the Knights was just something I didn't know I needed, and then this inclusion of this brand new lightsaber wielding character right before Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, this was a great freaking issue.
Okay, let's get into it. I'll preface it to say I don't know if this is where you guys are going, but her lightsaber isn't the only thing that's red.
Yep.
Her hair is red.
Oh.
Well, I don't know, Chris, if that's where you're going, but
yeah.
Joel, you wanted to you guys have been chatting back and forth all day. Have at it, Joel. What's your big theory? What's your big take on kind of the overall of this?
Yes. It's interesting Soul's going this direction, answering a question in a way that you didn't have to answer it this way. I'm making it sound like a critique, and it's not. But I do think it's fascinating anyway. So
which question are we getting at, sir?
So that's the question of where were the Knights of Ren during episode 7 and 8?
Yeah.
Because, okay, so, like, if you were to ask, like, J.J. Abrams and Ryan Johnson, like, where were the Knights of Ren during episode 7 and 8? they probably would just say, I don't know, they were doing other things when Kylo didn't need them at the time. He gonna probably just doing other stuff, and then by the time episode 9, it's like, hey boys, yep, need you Palpatine back. We gotta hunt down Rey. Yep, cool. Charles is Charles. X-Men stuff there. Charles Soule is taking it to a different level of so after Rise of Kylo Ren, I always want to call it Rise and Fall of Kylo Ren. Rise in Kylo Ren, he goes with the Knights of Ren for several months. It says so in the comic. I read it, and they're doing basically glorified piracy. Like they are a gang. They're like he's like a teenage hoodlum with a gang. They're robbing. They're drinking. They're having a good time. It's partying time, man. And obviously,
Nihil theory. They're doing Nihil theory.
I mean, they kind of are the Nile, right? They're kind of just like the Nile, but with maybe more Force sensitivity.
Yeah, and more fun, anyway.
And more fun. I mean, Kylo and Marcion got a lot in common sometimes. Yeah. It's the unhingedness. Obviously. And, but obviously, the Knights of Ren are like, oh, and then Kylo started getting dark. And I mean, like, dark for us, man. Like, we like killing, but we have a limit. And then obviously we get to the moment that is, if you turn to page 15 from The Force Awakens, the flashback, and basically find out, oh, well, the reason why the Knights of Ren are in episode 7 and 8 is because Snoke made Kylo ditch him. Like, nah, man, you are, like the Knights of Ren don't even know the First Order's a thing. Snoke comes to Kylo, it's like, hey, want to be something grander? Want to do some space fascism with me? Like, he does do that, and then Kylo's like, yes, Master Snoke. And the Knights of Ren like, what are you talking about? We're loyal. We're the Ren. We're your guys, Kylo. And like Snoke's like, no, and then it's just sick of him, So I think it's really interesting that there is this interesting dynamic of like, oh, I guess the Knights of Ren weren't part of the First Order, at least for a bit. They just kind of were Kylo's gang that Snoke wanted him to hang out with to kind of test the waters of Darkseid before it's time to now do some real Empire stuff. Like now you gotta really be like your grandpa and be in control of this great empire and whatnot. So that to me was the biggest takeaway of like, you didn't have to answer it this way. I think we all could have been fine with just, they were just doing other things during those movies. But I think if you're gonna especially get this Tava Ren character, like, well, why is she commanding the Knights of Ren now? Okay, so I guess Kylo ditched them for a while, and then he got hooked up back with these guys, and then it was like, okay, Snoke's dead. Maybe I was a little harsh. You guys want to be like my posse in the First Order? We could do all cool and we have our spaceships. And for a little bit, they're like, yeah, until Palpatine comes back, and then they're like, oh wait, we're gonna win this guy because he's more powerful and scary.
Yeah. Well,
so that to me was the big take. And as for Tava, my kind of, I do not actually buy any of the Mara Jade stuff. Anybody's asking, but I do think for her, what I would like to see, and I guess I can kind of go into my speculation now because it kind of involves her, is we have 12 issues. But your gut says 12, going to be 12 issues, or our guts kind of all say 12 issues. We could be wrong. 12 issues. But she lives to fight another day. Maybe she's even with the Knights of Ren still. Maybe she does stay around as Kylo's lieutenant. 12 issues done. Legacy Vader over. Somewhere in Comic-Con or afterwards, because they might not want to spoil anything until after it's done. Charles Soule, pre Rise of Skywalker, post Legacy Vader, Rey Finn Poe adventures. Another 12 issues. Tava Ren is one of the main baddies, and she gets to fight Rey. And I don't know. Hopefully, she lives again, but gets defeated and runs off because to prove why she's not around during episode 9. And it's sort of like, okay, now that Kylo's kind of more in his element as Supreme Leader, now we get to see what Rey, Finn, and Poe are up to, fighting the First Order and stopping Kylo's machinations and get us closer to the end of the year when Palpatine's about ready to make his big move. That is my kind of speculation. But I guess I actually kind of want to reverse course and take host for like a second, Matt, and ask you a question.
All right, Joel.
What do you make of answering the question of where were the Knights of Ren for 7 and 8 in this way? Where again, I would have been fine if they just said, "Oh, they were somewhere else." but kind of adding this extra layer to that question, to that answer.
Yeah. I mean, it's the kind of thing we talk about on Mondays, right? In terms of the paper to screen pipeline, screen to paper pipeline, really filling out and filling in this kind of this lore hole story question. Well, we have this definitive answer. I think, again, I'm going back to the first part of this discussion in that, it works really well. Another thing I say on Iron Cannon is it works really well as part of this character story. It really helps situate where Kylo Ren is at this moment. As he's, again, remember, it's these, issue 8, maybe issue 9. No, definitely issue 9, maybe issue 10, and then 11 and 12, or 10, 11, 12 are Luke. We know that already. So setting him up for this next big confrontation with everything, with the Knights of Ren and with Snoke and with this isolationism. We already know that, again, we talked about this on Monday with Adam Christopher, the Shadow of the Sith. Luke not quite isolated him, but certainly demanded and required him to submit to the kind of discipline that the Jedi had before Order 66, except there isn't this massive Jedi Order and all these other Padawans and younglings for him to get to know. So he might, if anything, at least resent Luke for the same thing, even if it's not necessarily accurate. So yeah, it really sets everything up there. Yeah, I mean, this whole getting the flashback of that scene. Again, I'm glad you pointed that out to me. It's like, oh dang, this is that. I do wonder if that's something JJ had developed as a story point of what's actually happening in this flashback vision. The question is, why is Rey seeing it? What does it mean that Rey is seeing it? What does it mean?
I have a boring answer for why that might be, if you want the boring answer.
Well, yeah, but just to say, okay, we're getting this definitive. Charles is allowed to really carve out this story in the paper canon, right? That's an amazing thing. It's like he's had just a wild 2025 for this guy. Right? He's able to give this answer. He's able, and it's not only just any kind of story, it's specifically what's going on in this vision in Force Awakens. He's been allowed to develop a planet that's like Mortis and Mortis and Octo and all these other places on in High Republic. Yeah, it really shows. I think Chris is part of what you're gonna get at here is they're letting him drive the car at least some of the time. When Filoni and Favreau and whoever else don't need it, they're letting and now of course now the saga's over, it's fine. When JJ doesn't need the car anymore, he sold it, and Charles has bought the used car, but he's driving it fine, and they've let him drive it. And so when Filoni and Favreau and them don't need it, he can drive it, and he's good. He's good. They trust him with it. So yeah, that's kind of what the larger implications of that. I really like your idea of a Rey Finn Poe story, especially because but one of the things he wants to do in Legacy of Vader is help set up and take the what am I trying to say? The road to the Rise of Skywalker, right? In retroactively, right? Tell that story. We say smooth over some things, sure. Kind of make it feel more natural, more organic of a story. Lead us into it, and taking the time in a comic book can do that, and it also gives us more time with Tava, right? Maybe could go into her backstory a little more. It just does feel like a bit of a backdoor pilot, if you will, for
Yeah.
that. So
Oh, one more thing I
So,
want to say,
yeah.
and then I'll give it to Chris. Let me talk
and
too much.
also, Joe, what your boring theory is? I'm curious to know what that too is. But
Oh, the boring theory is everything I've heard about that flashback in Force Awakens was originally it was going to follow like the journey of the lightsaber and like where it was, and
Mhm.
it might have been with that guy that Kylo kills before
so
it got lost
so
again.
Charles changed it probably.
No, JJ changed it because he gave up on that idea and just started
Yeah.
showing a bunch of random flashbacks.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
I see. Okay, I see.
and also, I do think the intent of both JJ and Ryan was Kylo would always master the Knights of Ren because even in Force Awakens, Snoke says "Master of the Knights of
Yeah.
Ren." Like I assumed he was always in charge. But anyway, the other thing, and then I'll let you talk, Chris. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
The other thing that it could be leading is like you could do a really fun Knights of Ren prequel with Kylo and the Knights of Ren just doing crime. That
Yeah.
could be kind of fun. But okay, I've talked too much about it.
Yeah. It would be the fourth time in Crimson Empire, not Crimson Empire.
Crimson Reign.
Yeah, Crimson Reign. They have a pretty fun issue, and Vader's Castle too. So there you go.
And then in the Lego special too.
And the Lego special, of course. Can't forget the Lego special. Chris, you've been chomping a bit to chime in here in terms of the wider implications of this and the lore. What's standing out to you with all that?
Yeah, I was just again a powerful Force user that's introduced right before the end of the saga.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, is she perhaps going to be a villain for like post Rise of Skywalker? First Order's gone. What's
Mhm.
going to happen? You said rejoining the Knights of Ren. How? They're all dead, right? They got killed by Kylo at the end of the movie. So,
Oh yeah, sure.
what is that journey going to be for her? She's just gonna try to get new recruits, or is she gonna go her own way? She gonna have a bone to pick with Rey, Poe, or Finn for some reason, like to become their adversary. I just think it's going to help build a post sequel trilogy world if we have somebody powerful like her. And I would like a story about how like these Wrens even come to be, like even the prior Wren, like we actually kind of know they go back like from Crimson Reign, I think it was. They go back so far, like there's generations. It
Yeah.
seems like generations of Knights of Ren. So it's almost like the Sith or the Jedi, I guess, like people know that these people exist and I guess they aspire to be them. We see that her depiction has like that glowy kind of runic language on her
Yeah.
neck, similar to what the original Ren had that we've seen.
Yeah, on his mask and
Yeah, so I'm very curious to see to learn more about all of that. But yeah, most importantly, it's just I like these strong female type characters, and I don't want to see them done with her so soon.
yeah. Yeah, I mean
the
Marvel's probably
implications is also not very good as well if you kill off a character right away.
Yeah. Like Marvel's probably looking at the dollars, the numbers, and saying, okay, maybe. See what the reaction to her will be. I mean, that's the thing is, we have to vote with our wallets here with this. It's true. I mean, that's the business of this, right? So,
yeah.
So
I'm reading on page 11 of 23, and maybe you guys could provide some clarification on this name, Bedat, Bedat. This is in reference to Tava is like talking to the Knights of the Red on the Buzzard, and this character is saying, okay, she's saying, who the hell is Kylo Ren?
Right.
And this guy's replying, he ran the Knights before you came along, before Bedat. And she says, so he's the one Bedat killed before I killed him and got you out of the cell. So she killed, there was another, I guess, leader of the Knights of Ren, like after Kylo left.
I think I know. Yeah.
Okay,
Let's,
go ahead.
so Kylo kills Ren in Rise of Kylo Ren.
Yes.
And Kylo ditches them, so no one dies. He just ditches them. He thinks they're dead. Then clearly this Bedat guy must have taken over in between that period between when Kylo ditches them and this comic. And then Tava comes along, she kills Bedat,
Right.
and then I'm now the gal in charge. That's how I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it makes more sense.
that makes sense, but it is kind of just dropped in there. It's true.
I
Yeah.
also really love, by the way. I mean, I talked about this a little bit. I'll just talk about it now. I love the Knights of Ren's reaction to Snoke, and like, you're like, yeah, we got money from this guy, but even we don't trust him. Like, he's like, I
I
think,
know.
and I think maybe that just shows like dark side is a different stroke, because like, what are the
Mhm.
Knights of Ren about? They're about freedom. They're about taking. I mean, they're Nihil, right? But like, we take
Yeah.
what we want, we do what we please, yo ho, yo ho. Whereas like, Snoke as a puppet of Palpatine in the figurative and literal sense,
Mhm.
they're about order, control. Like, sometimes we'll let pirates who do our bidding live, but
Yeah.
like, we will crush you, and because
I
we
think
demand rigidness,
I think
fascism.
I think it's very interesting that like throughout the comic you see the
Mhm.
Kylo start or this Knight of Ren is reciting the story and said, "Oh yeah, all of a sudden Kylo had us doing very specific missions that would
Yeah.
fall outside of our usual missions that would include like assassinating certain political I don't think it's political, but like certain people."
Yeah.
So
Could be
I
political.
find it very interesting. Like, okay, like what was the aim of Palpatine slash Snoke? Like, who was the guy with the hat that we see that Kylo kills? Like, why? What was his significance?
Yeah.
He was
That
an
would
inner rim warlord, according to the comic.
okay, yeah. Like, how would that hamper the First Order? Like who are these people? Like,
Yeah.
they're obviously targets they want to take out before the First Order could just come in and swiftly just take
Mhm.
over lots of the galaxy all at once. So
Yeah.
very curious about in general. I still want that comic, Joel, or a
Mhm.
book about Ray Sloan in
Yes.
the unknown regions fighting against the Gris, because we know the connection between the helmets of the First Order.
Mhm.
They look like the Gris. They talk about the Crucible, Snoke says in the
Mhm.
novelization of Last Jedi.
Mhm.
Also, where there's Navigator, the weird Navigator people come from the unknown regions.
Oh yeah.
We need all that information, and it's been a decade. I think it's time, Lucasfilm, to give us those stories. I know there
Yes.
shouldn't be any contradictions of other stories at this
Mhm.
point. You've had plenty of time to figure it
Yeah.
out. So I'm also looking forward to that one day, hopefully. But yeah,
And
I'm
it,
just looking forward to how Snoke takes over the First Order. Like, where is Rey Sloan? I thought she
yeah.
was the big leader in charge.
Where's I mean that's the perennial question.
and also
Yeah.
like about Snoke as we knew Ben as a child. Like I want to see, and then there
Yeah.
was this whole thing about in Rise of Kylo Ren, like Ben being legitimately shocked about the appearance of Snoke, being like, "Oh my gosh, what happened to you?"
Hmm.
Like he got disfigured by Luke Skywalker. It's alluded to, I think, in that comic, or outright said
Mhm.
that Luke did something to Snoke, but yet
Well.
he's been around the family of
Mhm.
of of the Solos for a long time. So
Mhm.
again, I want to see those flashbacks of like
Yeah.
a young, different looking Snoke there.
With the
That'd be
hat.
interesting.
With the hat.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that hat.
I mean, Snoke could be lying about that too. Is also possible, but because we also know that it's because he's just the cloning isn't quite working yet. So takes until Exegol. We see on Exegol for
Yeah,
the
but
cloning to
then
work. But
even in the Rise of Kylo Ren,
mhm.
where he's already very young
Yeah.
at that mission with Lord Santeca and Luke, and he's
Mhm.
getting the voices in his head already,
Yeah.
and he looks like he's like 12 or 13 at that age.
That's creepy. That's creepy. No wonder he turns out the way he is. Yeah. Yeah. So fascinating. Really, really intriguing stuff. I mean, trying to think of anything meaningful to say at this point.
Guess
Yeah.
I'll
Sorry, my brain just stopped. Sorry.
think
Go
of
ahead.
the last thing then, is that, so again, I've always said this, and I think I've talked to you about this, Chris, on private, but I do
Mm.
not think this comic will end at the end year of Rise of Skywalker. I do not think it'll end the day before Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
I don't think enough time has passed. But I am kind of curious of, like, much like with Vader, Charles Soule's Vader, where is Kylo Ren mentally as a character by the time this, like, where kind of does he stand? Because obviously he can't be
Yeah.
redeemed yet. That's for Rise of Skywalker. So like, is he more assured of himself? Is he a little bit more of a I am the supreme leader, Kylo Ren, and neither are my knights, and I will lead the First Order to glory truly now. Or
Yeah.
is he a little bit even more unhinged? I mean, I'm kind of curious where the final confrontation leads him, kind of for the next couple months until Skywalker and Palpatine
Yeah.
and all that.
Well, I mean, one of the thing I was gonna, well, I remember what I was gonna say before my brain just stopped. I mean, what's fascinating here, another thing you just introduced is kind of, again, Joel, literally what we were talking about on Monday. These guys are true believers in, yeah, they're pirates. They want to do what they want, but they're true believers in that, right? They're believers in this tradition of the Ren, of
The Shadow.
You know, they do see this as a source of power. Both, you know, I mean, power enough to break into Vader's castle and take this key. How do you have the cojones to do that? And
They're comrades.
so yeah, and then the comrade in arms, all that, and so maybe that gets part of what turns Kylo to be able to actually say, okay, I'm going to be the supreme leader now, doing my supreme leadering, to set him up to be a more formidable villain, until he isn't, of course, in Rise of Skywalker. But it really, I mean, it's moving towards this transition point, I should say, and again, it's these issues, and then Luke, and then whatever happens next. I agree. This, we'll find out in a few months just how much time has elapsed, but I hope there's more space between now and then. Because well, again, that's even just to explore more about the Knights of Ren, their beliefs, their history, what they're doing. I would be kind of disappointed if they just do directly go back to the Nile. I'd be more interested. I mean, those connections with the Grisk are fascinating, but I'd be more interested to say if they're inspired by the Nile or something like that.
Lithely Headland almost made it that it was going to be Kanye that might have, or that you almost had some implications of that, but
right,
that's not happening anymore, sadly.
Well,
so who
still
knows
can
Charles will
in
go
some
with.
other media. So there we go.
Who knows what Charles has for the Knights of Ren? I hope to direct the book.
Yes, there we go. Chris, any further thoughts on all this, the implications and everything?
Yeah. So just a macro analysis of the situation here is, again, as I said off the top, I'm just relieved and hopeful because Marvel is taking big swings and they've been taking big swings with other comic stories, but they're finally taking big swings with like well-established characters, like Han, like Kylo, and give us a peek at moments of their lives that we didn't know we kind of needed. So I'm really happy with that. It makes these comics, again, we enjoy reading these comics every week, but it adds that layer of like, oh, these are the kind of stories that I'm messaging my like friends that don't read the comics, going like, oh yeah, we get to actually find out like what happened with the Knights of Ren after like Kylo left them, and there's this new girl in charge, like stuff that is substantial enough that it's going to leave hopefully a lasting impact, on things moving forward enough.
It's feeling like like 10 years ago when maybe you'd see the Force Awakens, we'd see a film, even the original trilogy, and be like, oh yeah, and our friends would ask, okay, what happened to do this? And there was this book, that book, we could point to, or this comic or whatever, and then the whole paper to screen pipeline kind of got they went their separate ways. That's the interesting thing. Maybe this is what you're saying is they're no longer going their separate ways in these two comics that we've gotten.
I don't agree with that at all in terms of, because there were never that many great sequel trilogy books that much. Not
necessarily sequel trilogy, but just, I mean, in terms of the screen, paper to screen, right? With High Republic, I mean, I love it when it goes a separate way. I mean, High Republic was whole initiative,
I guess we thought after. I guess we all thought Rax was Snoke in Aftermath, and that never went anywhere. I did.
Yeah,
I
but
think that.
my point being, now, I mean, and Chris's point, I think, to Chris's point is they're actually connecting things back again. They're actually doing tie-ins, but not calling them tie-ins. 10 years later, I mean, that's how you got to do them. Don't do a tie-in, tie-in before the thing comes out. Do a tie-in long after everyone's seen it, and the creators and the authors don't call it a tie-in. The creators and the authors can actually
Have the full picture.
Yeah, have a full picture to develop a full story. You know, the question we may or may not be asking, whatever questions they're asking, to write that. I mean, great example. Now are going to be the second and third books of the Reign of the Empire trilogy. It's going to be an incredible example. Those are Andor tie-ins. Full stop. I mean, explicitly at this point, right?
Yes.
They're going to be spectacular because we have the full story, and it's going to talk about questions. You know, where did Mon Mothma and Luthen collaborate? Where did their?
We can hope so. We might not. We don't want to make too much.
I'm pretty sure Luthen's showing up in these ones, or not necessarily Luthen, but something. But I'm guessing Luthen's going to be on the cover of the second one.
Oh,
but anyway. Or at least we know somebody from the Acolyte is. Or not the Acolyte.
what?
Andor. Sorry. that would be something else. That would be something else
He's
entirely.
alive, and he's tailing me up with Mon Mothma.
Sorry. Andor. So, yeah. So, again, I mean, also, as I mentioned in the note, in the description, the notes, the caption here, it's the TFA at 10 party. You know, they're throwing the party. It's time to really, like Chris, like you said, break out the black box. Yeah. So it's exciting. It's a good time to be a comics fan. You know, I keep saying every week, twice a week, there's a new Star Wars story coming out every Wednesday. Now the Star Wars stories that are coming out every Wednesday connect to the ones. I mean, this is something we say to screen folks. Sorry, we say to screen folks because there's the lull for screen content. And say, okay, I know comics are commitment, and you know you have to read 7 issues. It's only 7 issues, guys, to catch up to Legacy Vader 8. Hunt for the Falcon, 0 issues to catch up to number 1. So there we go. But there are new Star Wars stories coming out every week, and especially with these two, they connect deeply to the 3 saga films that we got. That we all fell in love with. Everyone, well, not fell in love with. Some people hated Last Jedi, but you know that were front and center in the fandom for 6-7 years or whatever it is. So I guess 4 years. But yeah, definitely again feels good. Feels good to have those questions answered. They also, I mean, Rodney Barnes and Charles Soule, it's in good hands. It's good hands for that. So
I'm glad Rodney Barnes doesn't have to deal with the streaming tie-ins anymore. That's
yeah. Can we retire those?
Yeah, I
don't
think
even
they
start.
They're not doing it. I mean, they ran out of material, so we're fine.
They haven't done Andor yet.
Just don't. It's okay. It's fine. They don't need to.
I think they're gonna find that they probably weren't making them in the first place. They probably didn't make their money's worth. Maybe, who knows? I don't know.
We got to vote with our wallet. You know, again, that's the thing. Yeah, and the only purpose of those kinds of tie-ins are the variants.
Covers.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, give us new stories. Rodney, thankfully, giving us a great new story, and of course, Charles, being Charles as he does. So there we go. Any last thoughts? Any last feelings? Any last hopes and dreams for comics right now? Legacy of Vader. Chris, I'm jealous. New York Comic Con, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
FOMO.
Yeah.
Not just for comics, but just for everything.
Looking really good right now. Looking really good right now. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next week, we're going back to my era.
Whoa.
Yep. We got 2 prequel stories. We got Jedi Knights, number 7, and Tales from the Nightlands #1. I gotta say, I'm gonna answer my own question here. Everything I've seen from this Kevin Scott comic, the Ian McKay design for the Nightlander. I mean, really looking forward to issue #2, which is set during the original trilogy. But dang, Tales from the Nightlands #1. Let's go. Let's dive right in. Get that Dark Horse mailer in. Go to your local comic book shop and pick these up because, yeah, I mean, Mark Guggenheim he's done a great job so far with Jedi Knights, but I'm chopping at the bit for Kevin Scott's Tales of the Nightlands. Chris, what are you looking forward to in these ones?
I did not realize that we're getting Tales of the Nightlands so soon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only going to be the second week of September. I mean, good on them because I remember I gave them flack the one year where they're like, oh, we delayed it and delayed it again.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be out in January. I'm like, you missed the boat completely on the spooky season. Great job. So Dark Horse, that was IDW back in the day. Like Dark Horse is more on the ball with these shipping. There's never really much issues with them. So
I'm gonna check if that's right. I may have made a mistake on that. Yeah, no, that's right. Looks right to me.
Awesome. Oh, and Jedi Knights, right? We got that cool cliffhanger with they got to go to that planet to get the antidote for Qui-Gon. So
right.
That's gonna be cool. Alice Secura's knocked out, Mace Windu's knocked out. They're on Mina Rao, which is the planet of Andor. So I'm happy because that was less than a month that we got that follow-up. So it's always nice when we get those quick succession in stories. So it's almost like TV.
Yeah, there we go. So again, we got sequels this week and we got prequels next week.
Yeah.
2 weeks from now, just looking at the schedule now, 2 weeks from now, ongoing #5 and Boba Fett Black, White, Red #1.
Oh, that's another one that snuck up on us because I forgot that got even announced.
Yep. There we go. So yes, stay tuned next week. Same Catacoot time, same Catacoot channel. I'm going to keep doing that Phase 2 deep cut. If you read The Young Reader, was it Quest for the Hidden City? The Catacoot. Yeah. Why do I remember that? Anyways, so yeah, go to your local comic book shop, pick those up. Pick up Hunt for the Falcon #1. Pick up Legacy Vader's #1 to 8. Do it. Joel, can you do your Palpatine do it voice, please?
Do it.
Thank you. There we go. But yeah, that about does it for Tractor Beam Comics reviews. Another great discussion to get us into. Yeah, I agree. It was a fantastic day of comics. A fantastic day for hopefully new folks get into these. See Han Solo and Lando on the cover. I'm going to pick up this comic book, the Falcon. Why not? Yeah, so definitely a great day for comics. Joel, ask you for plugs first. Where can they find you on the internet? And I've mentioned about Mondays. Where can they find us on Mondays?
They can find us at the Ion Cannon podcast every Monday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on the Star Wars Underworld Network channel.
And what are we talking about? We're talking about succession, political succession, successor states.
Government continuity. Yay! Yeah. Exciting stuff. Yes. Is the Republic the First Order? Is the First Order the Empire? What's the New Republic then? Find out more.
They don't even know. There we go. Yes, another incredibly delightfully nerdy poli-sci discussion coming your way on the Ion Cannon podcast. Also, where can they find you on social media, etc.?
You can find me at JID20234 on Blue Sky, JID20234 on Blue Sky, and of course on the Star Wars Underworld Discord server.
Yeah, and you got the Ion Cannon Blue Sky account. I mean, so do I, but yeah, you're on there quite actively. Chris, again, thanks for jumping in, or not jumping in, coming on as usual. This is our 95th run of comic of Tractor Beam. What words? Get words out of my mouth. Anyway, where can they find you on the internet? What do you got going on over on your YouTube channel, etc.?
Yeah, we're taking a break this week on Out of Room Transmission, my other podcast, talking about Star Wars. Last week, we talked about the big casting lineup for Star Wars TIE Fighter, so we're very excited to see a brand new Star Wars movie in production. It's actually happening, guys. It's not just a thought. It's actually happening. I mean, they haven't ever produced a Star Wars movie and just didn't put it out. So, not that we know of, anyways. They'll change the director if they need to. They'll change the writers if they need to. They're going to get it across the finish line one way or another. But I think Sean Levy and team have a good head on their shoulders there, and I think we're going to see this one come to us in 2027. You're also going to see me on Twitter, twitter.com/StarRaptor. Shot from the rooftops. Go hell effing yeah! We're getting Superman, Man of Tomorrow, just announced today, coming out in 2 years. That means we get 3 super movies back-to-back years. James Gunn is on a roll. Love and Peacemaker. You're going to see me talking about that on the channel, which, by the way, is youtube.com/StarRaptor. It's for all your DC stuff, Star Wars, video games, and more, and all that good stuff. youtube.com/StarRaptor.
Yeah, there we go. Definitely check all that out. You can find my personals, in addition to the Ion Cannon podcast, you can find my personal Instagram, MNUG1138. Also, that's also my Blue Sky and Threads. I don't post that much on either of those, but whatever. You can find that. Also, I'm a bit behind. I got to post my Beaches Foodie, CNE Eats on Beaches Foodie at beaches.foodie, FOODIE. It's also on Instagram. Do check that out, and still Twitter, NUG485. Mostly replying to folks about soccer there, but I'm still there. If you want to shout out, check me out there. Also, again, Tractor Beam Live. Check that out right here on this channel. Great discussion with Ethan and Paolo, and Ash did a great job leading that. Hopefully do more of that at Toronto Comic Con. And then right here, I'm saying it again. I'm going to say it again. I love it. Same Catacute time, same Catacute channel. There we go. I'm going to do that. We're going to talk right about where is this? Jedi Knights number 7 and Tales from the Nightlands number 1. I will wear my Prequelist t-shirt because I gotta. But yeah, that does it for Tractor Beam Comics reviews. Until then, till next week, happy reading.